In the spring of 1886, close to 340,000 American workers went out on strike, demanding an 8-hour day. By the end of the year, more than 1,500 strikes and boycotts had paralyzed the nation. Their employers struck back.
There were private guards who were hired by these businessmen to see that the plants did not have union sympathizers in it, to see that during strikes the pickets were kind of beaten back from the walls of the factories so that the factories could operate with non-union, so-called scab labor. And they also used their political power. They would go to local either mayors or they would go to local governors and sometimes to the President of the United States and ask them to call out the militia or the U.S. Army to quell disorders and get those workers back to work.
In May of 1886, the war between capital and labor again exploded in flames in Chicago, the industrial colossus of the Midwest, where 40,000 workers struck for the 8-hour day. When pickets and strikebreakers clashed outside the Great McCormick Harvester Company, the nation's largest manufacturer of farm machinery, police attacked the strikers, killing 4 workers. The next day, a crowd of 2,000 working men gathered at Haymarket to hear speeches denouncing the police brutality at a rally organized by German-speaking anarchists, people who opposed any kind of government. The rallies seemed to be diminishing at that time, but someone threw a bomb into the ranks of the policemen. 1 officer was killed. The police fired on the crowd, killing 10 and injuring 50. The police arrested 8 anarchists, 4 of whom were quickly convicted of the crime, despite the fact that no evidence was ever found to tie them to the bomb thrower. But few Chicagoans complained. The Haymarket bombing whipped the city and the nation into an anti-labor, anti-immigrant frenzy. Growing numbers of Americans blamed foreign agitators for the United States labor crisis. A single bomb, wrote labor organizer Samuel Gompers, had demolished the 8-hour movement.
The Haymarket affair became a tragedy in a sense, not just because of the men who were killed in the affair, but also for the workers themselves, because workers were frightened to be attached to such a radical movement.
The Haymarket riots destroyed the Knights of Labor, but out of its ashes, a new union arose. Samuel Gompers, head of the Cigar Makers International Union, had found what he believed was a better way to form a labor union. Building its membership on skilled workers, the AFL excluded political radicals, African Americans, and women. Asked what labor wanted, Gompers replied with a single word: more. More money, that is. The first major test of the AFL's new brand of white and male trade unionism soon came against none other than the powerful Andrew Carnegie.